Good morning to you, Amber. Indeed, as SALGA, we are very, very disappointed by our members because SALGA is formed by municipalities and municipalities is formed by councillors. So when an incident like this happens, it's actually talking to us as SALGA as well. Hence, we are raising our voice and saying we are really disappointed, and we are happy that police department has managed to move swiftly and arrest the alleged perpetrators, and also and agree with the political parties that have taken stance to suspend the suspected alleged perpetrators.
Is your shock and disappointment enough, though, to prevent these incidents from further occurring?
It's really not enough. We are calling on the society, we are calling on political parties to make sure that when they elect and they choose their representatives to council, must choose people of a good stand in the society. We are also saying it is important that when people are elected must understand that they do not represent their interests, but they represent the society, they represented the vulnerable groups, that is women and children and old people. So indeed we are disappointed, but it is not enough. We must do something, must take action. But we're happy that a process has been taken already. People are arrested. All we need to do now is to support those victims and make sure that the process is followed to the letter and the law is taking its course.
And this is, of course, being reactive, but in terms of being proactive, how do you prevent these councillors making it into councils and into these positions of power, and also considering how they are able to abuse this power? Screening, for instance, that surely must be something that SALGA should be assisting political parties with.
We, as SALGA, we have done that quite a number of times where we have engaged political parties and said, this is a process that must be followed. As a result, there are quite a number of issues where political parties have managed to listen to us, but in some instances they did not. But it is not upon us as SALGA, but we have a responsibility of making sure that we assist political parties. Hence, whenever there's going to be elections, we engage, we continuously engage with political parties to make sure that when they choose their candidates, they follow a right process. Hence, you have seen some of the other political parties now beginning to interview their candidates. They do the screening. It is only because SALGA is involved in engaging. That's the limited role that you can play as SALGA, to engage political parties in order to make sure that they choose the right candidates.
Shouldn't SALGA be taking it a step forward in saying that it's not only a recommendation, that it is an obligation on these political parties to do these screenings? Because, as I've said, this is an abuse of power. Indeed.
Hence, we are calling for an amendment of the legislation so that when we elect political parties, when political parties are electing their candidates, they are not doing it based on their policies, but they are guided by the legislation. Hence, as SALGA, we continue to engage with the National Parliament to say, when we amend legislation, the Municipal Structures Act, the Municipal Systems Act, let's make sure that it is indeed part of the legislation. The screening must not only be by political parties, but the legislation must enforce that screening so that we come up with credible candidates to represent our communities.
And from the research that SALGA has done, how pervasive are these incidents of sexual exploitation as well as sex for jobs?
It's quite very prevalent issue of GBV in our society. Therefore, in local government cannot be immune to that because it is something that is prevalent. Remember, during the COVID-19, the president said this is the second endemic in the country. So it is indeed something that is affecting the society, and local government is closer to the people, is working within the communities. Hence, you will find that is prevalent. As a result, as local government, we have established what is called a National Women's Commission so that we are able to deal with issues that affect the society, especially on the issues of GBV. It's one of our roles as the SALGA Women's Commission to make sure that we educate our people. We are involved in issues like this, and there's been incidents where we have called for municipalities to take action. Remember a story in Mzimvubu where there was the same situation where a speaker was alleged to be violated and abused a woman. Indeed, we raised our voice, and the political party involved did suspend that speaker. We are still waiting to see what's going to happen with that. But in a nutshell, it's something that is happening. And there are instances, and there are instances where we are alleged as municipalities that in instances there will be sex for jobs. We make sure that we raise our voice as SALGA. We follow that up to the latter where there are such allegations, so that the law must take its course.
Let's quickly speak about the story of Matlosana, the Matlosana councillor. And of course, you've seen the videos doing the rounds on social media. What type of support is SALGA giving these children? Also, because this is child pornography that is being spread on social media, and we're speaking here about children.
Indeed, we have requested, because remember SALGA is provincial based and national based. So we have requested that the SALGA Women's Commission at a provincial level must see to it that they support that the victims, and again engage the municipality to make sure that something is done. I've spoken to the provincial chairperson yesterday, and they are working on that.
And I see that there's a report indicating that with the Northwest case again, that the NPA said that the accused is facing 3 counts of violating a child with consent. What's your take on this?
Even if it's a consent, but it's against the law, in the sense that if it's a statutory rape, it remains a statutory rape. Hence, as SALGA was saying, we stand by the victim, and we believe that indeed something is wrong, whether there was a consent or not. But as SALGA, we are standing behind the victim and saying, even if, because a minor cannot be able to take a decision that is rational, because he is a minor, she is a minor in terms of the law.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. That is the SALGA's Women's Commission's National Chairperson, Ntandokazi Capa.